Hey y'all, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a while since I've been on here and just rambled. Give me a hug. Okay, thank you. I just want a little hug. I like hugs. I love hugs. But my thing is like, don't give me a hug if you're not going to properly hug me. I think a perfect hug starts with both feet planted firmly on the ground, back straight, okay? And then you hug with both arms. You pull the person in with both arms. You pull them into your chest. And you hold them right there. And then you release. That's how you give a proper hug. So don't hug me if you're not going to give me that. But anyway, how have y'all been? How have you been? How have you been? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're getting sleep. I hope you're eating properly. I want to know what you've been watching. What have you been listening to? All that good stuff. So, did you guys watch the Emmys last night? Yeah. I always watch the Emmys. I love award shows in general. Like watching everyone get dressed up. I love the red carpet interviews. I love watching people just be so excited and giddy and nervous and anxious. I love the whole production, the whole setup, from the person who's making the awards to deciding what the stage will look like, who will be performing, who's going to be hosting it. Cedric the Entertainer hosted the Emmys last night. He did okay. There were a few parts that were really cringy that I kind of looked away from. I kind of looked at my phone. Seth Rogen seemed super nervous. He was like one of the first presenters during the show last night, and he seems super shaky and nervous, but that's kind of his style. He always seems super shaky and nervous. Some of the big winners from last night were Ted Lasso, which I've never seen. I think it's on Apple TV. I've never watched it. Have you seen it? Is it good? I'm guessing it's good because it has Jason Sudeikis in it. I think he's one of the leads, and I think he's also the creator of the show. Yeah, so congratulations to Jason Sudeikis. I think I'm like happy for anybody who survives SNL and then still is famous afterward, still is able to create and do things. Like, I think that's so impressive because for a lot of people, SNL is the thing. Like, that's that's like the ultimate gig. That's the ultimate. To do that and then do all these other things afterward that like surpass your time on SNL, I think is amazing. And good on Jason Sudeikis. Good job. Kate Winslet won for Best Actress for the show Mayor of Eastwood. That's actually good. Now that's on Showtime, HBO Plus, Showtime or whatever. And that's actually really good. I did not think it was going to be of any interest to me, but she's such a great actress. And the dude from all of the guy in the same show, he's like on every single season of American Horror Story. So that's where I know him from primarily. And I think this might be his first time winning a supporting actor role. So good on him for that. But Mayor of Eastwood is really good. If you've not seen it, I would check it out for sure. And who else? And then the biggest takeaway from last night's Emmys was Michaela Coel. Yeah, it was Michaela Coel winning best writing, I think it was. Best writing for I May Destroy You. I'm so excited for her. I feel like I know her. I was like screaming at the TV when she won last night because no one was really talking about the show. I felt like I thought it was just going to be looked over, but she has worked her ass off for that show. She's worked her ass off for everything that she has. And to win for best writing is just like, it's just so good for her. I think she's amazing. I love her shows. She has the show on Netflix called Chewing Gum, which is just awkward and super cringy, kind of uncomfortable, but so good. And then I May Destroy You was also cringy, uncomfortable, but you couldn't stop watching it. And both kind of mirrors bits and pieces of her life. For I May Destroy You, she basically sort of took what happened to her while she was writing her first show, Chewing Gum, and made it into this amazing series. basically she had written Chewing Gum, got it picked up on Netflix. Once she got it picked up, she had to spend all this time rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. They took her credits away from her, even though she was the creator. It was a lot of funny stuff going on behind the scenes. And anyway, while she was writing and writing and having to meet all of these deadlines, she was, I believe, sexually assaulted by someone who worked on the crew, or I think it was her manager. I'm getting the story messed up, but someone sexually assaulted her that was really close to the project of Chewing Gum. And after it happened, she stayed in her hotel room and proceeded to write all of the season, like the entire season, right? Got it turned in time and everything was okay. But, that still happened to her. And so she took that experience and wrote it for I May Destroy You. And just, so good. And then her speech was even more like, it just hit everybody. I'm going to read it. Write the tales that scare you, that make you feel uncertain, that isn't comfortable. I dare you. In a world that entices us to browse through the lives of others to help us better determine how we feel about ourselves, and to in turn feel the need to be constantly visible. For visibility these days seem to somehow equate to success. Do not be afraid to disappear from us, for a while, and see what comes to you in the silence. Yes. And I can't wait to see what she does next. The things that she examines. I would love to be brave enough to write the stories that she writes. Yeah. I would love to see her team up with Jordan Peele and like do a project together, because what they both examine are so interesting. Jordan Peele with horror and race, and her with race and just the everyday awkwardness of being a human, of inhabiting this body, but through the lens of a Black woman. Yes, I would love to see them work together. I think that'd be kind of cool. On to some other things. I haven't been keeping up with the news as much as I should be at all. I haven't. And but this whole Nikki Minaj, Joy Reid debate, COVID, testicles, swollen testicles. I almost want to say poor Nikki Minaj, because I've been reading the comments on the blogs and people are saying that this is the beginning of the end for her career. If you don't know what happened, Nicki Minaj tweeted out, she tweeted about being hesitant to take the vaccine, right? And that she knows she has a cousin or a friend or someone in Trinidad who took the vaccine and his testicles swelled up and he was about to get married, and then his girlfriend called off the marriage because of his swollen testicles, and that's why she's just like, be careful y'all with this vaccine, or be careful out there. And it went out. It was big. It went out. It kind of went viral. And then a news anchor, I think she's on MSNBC, black woman named Joy Reid, I guess, just kind of said something about it and was just basically like, tisk, shame on you, Nikki, for even tweeting something like that out to all of your millions of followers, because it makes it look like you don't want to get the vaccine, and it makes it look like she doesn't want to get the vaccine, so then her fans don't want to get it, and blah, 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 right? It's a whole thing. And Nikki came back with a bunch of other tweets basically calling Joy a coon and all this other stuff. And I thought that was kind of extreme. And so now all of these other news stations have picked up on the tweet and they're all tearing Nikki apart. And then you got a representative of Trinidad to come out and actually say, you know, we looked for this cousin, friend, whatever. That person doesn't exist. Nikki Minaj is a liar. And then the White House, I guess, invited her to come speak to them. And then she tweeted out, the White House wants to talk to me, y'all. And then they were like, no, we didn't. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing for the past couple of days. And I kind of felt bad for her at first, because I felt like, okay, she is really getting ripped apart. People started talking about her surgeries, her body, you know, her butt implants, all this stuff. People started really talking about all of this, you know, and I felt bad for her. But then I felt bad for her at first, right? Because I feel like freedom of speech, blah, 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 blah. She should be able to say what she wants to say. And it's not like she said, don't get the vaccine. But she kind of basically said that in so many ways, you know. Girl, what you said was kind of stupid. The fact that you would even tweet some ridiculous nonsense about your cousin's friend and his testicles, I think that was kind of extreme. I think that was just dumb on her part. But she should be allowed to express her hesitancy in taking medication. She should be allowed to do that. And Joy, whose job it is to talk about the news and what's popular, should be allowed to comment on the ridiculous tweet that Nikki put out, right? Both ladies have a point, but I think to call Joy a coon and then to relate it to the black community, I think that was like a lot. It was a little too much for me. I think that was like a stretch for her. And but then it turns out that she may be doing all of this to hide the actual news of her fiance husband, who is a registered sex offender. Basically, something happened where he didn't register something happened where he didn't register as a sex offender where he's at, where they live currently, something like that. I might mess it up, whatever. And it's big news. I think maybe he might go to prison or something, something. And that was news, right? Like that initially hit the blogs. I remember that. And then all of a sudden, all these tweets about COVID come out from Nikki. And so people are saying that she's basically just trying to cover up, you know, and now people are saying like, you know, she's about to ruin her whole career for some dude. And I'm thinking, dang, Nikki, like, you could have found anybody. You could have found anybody to be with. She could have found anybody to be with. And she chose this dude. Like, I don't know the particulars of the case. Some people say, you know, he was 16 and the other person was like, I don't even know. But girl, like, he has to register as a sex offender. So like, that means she can't even live certain places. Why would you, as a much of a huge star as you are, why would you pick somebody like this and and then produce a child with them? What could he have said to her, I wonder, to get her to like fall in love with him? Like, what? I mean, even the fact that she dated Meek Mill was so gross to me. Meek Mill is so gross. That dude grosses me out. That dude grosses me out. And then Safari, she was with before that. I don't know. Transitioning from that, I saw that this whole thing with Haitian immigrants. So basically, Joe Biden is shipping back tens of thousands of Haitian immigrants that are, I guess, currently living under a bridge in Texas. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong, but supposedly he is sending them back in droves. Now, the Haitian president was just assassinated. They just had a horrible hurricane. There's just a lot of bad stuff right now going on in Haiti. And to put all your focus on Haitian immigrants and to be sending them back in droves when they need help, they're only here because they need help. And then the images that were released of these dudes on horses using whips on the Haitian immigrants, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. I don't understand it. And it's very disappointing. I'm not like this is not a political page, so I don't want to get, and I don't have the range, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but in talking about this, but it's, all I can say is it's disappointing. We're welcoming in Afghan refugees as we should, but then also, I don't understand that. Well, we are welcoming refugees, but then also pushing all these people out of the country that also need help. And it's like, is it because they're black? Like, what is the reason? What is the reason for it? Yeah. Have you guys watched, I don't have a transition for what I'm going to talk about next, but so I've been watching a lot more Hulu lately, and I'm watching the show, I think it's called 9 Perfect Strangers. It's a good show. At first, the way that the characters are presented are kind of cheesy and kind of like, I feel like kind of cliche almost. It's these 9 wealthy-ish people that sign up to go to this fancy retreat run by Nicole Kidman, who is this Russian lady, this Russian kind of hippie lady. Every episode there's a layer, more information given about each character, and Nicole Kidman's character, why she started it, who is she really. It's a lot of secrets. I'm on episode, I think, 7, and it's actually good. The first two episodes are kind of like, but it's good though. Regina Hall is hilarious in anything she does, even when it's dramatic. The only thing I'd say about the show that I noticed so far is, what the hell is up with Nicole Kidman's wig? Why would they? I don't understand it. Why would they give her such a horrible looking wig? And then at one point, she gets into, not at one point, like for most of the series, she's in this pool. And when she's underwater, it looks so pretty. It's like, in the water, it's flowy. She looks like a mermaid. But then when she comes out of the water, I'm wet and matted in the back, and it's shown on camera. Like they don't edit it out or anything. It's just like a really badly matted wig, and it's all wet. Yeah, So I'd say that the wig just really, I find myself looking at the wig through most of the dialogue sometimes. But at this point, I'm hooked and I kind of want to see what's the point. Like, why? And then I just watched The Premise by BJ Novak. He's the same guy who was on The Office. And I like it. I like it. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's kind of set up kind of like the Twilight Zone. So I kind of like that. It's nostalgic in a way, where he is in a suit and it's just like a white background, and he introduces I believe each episode, and kind of talks about what the character is going to learn. I like that. I like that a lot. So it's kind of like Black Mirror-ish, but it's not as twisted as Black Mirror. So I think some people might find the premise boring in that way, where it doesn't go off the deep end like Black Mirror. He has some really big names in the first 2 episodes. Ooh, I'd say the second episode is better. The first one is called Social Justice Sex Tape, in which, and it's interesting. There's this fake woke white dude who there's evidence in his sex tape video that suggests that could free this black guy from prison. Basically, the cops lied. The cops lied and said that he did something that he didn't do, and that's why they roughed him up and put him in prison, right? And this white guy, he pulls up this video of him and his ex, and he's gonna jerk off to it. And then he's watching the video of them fucking, and then he sees in the corner outside of his window the whole police altercation. And so he uses that, and he's like, oh my god, and he turns it into the lawyers representing the dude, and it goes from there. So actually it's interesting. It's interesting. I would check out that first episode and let me know what you thought about it. Tracy Ellis Ross is in it, and she's great as always. It's called The Premise on Hulu. I would check that out. But anyway, I should let you go. I feel like I've been talking for a while. Get off the phone with me, get some sleep, and I'll talk to you. I'll check in with you again soon, and we'll catch up on some other random things in the news. All right. Alrighty. Have a good night. Get some rest. And I'll chat with you again soon. Bye.